Welcome back, everybody. This is Joey Joint with Joint Perspectives. My video got cut out last time. I'm gonna say it's my once again. I'm still learning everything, still trying to get everything how I want it, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to put them together. So unfortunately, I have to make two clips out of this. Mind you, it kind of works because that last video was getting about 15 minutes, and I probably got about another 10 minutes of me talking and rambling, apparently. I wouldn't say that long, but I just want to go ahead and finish up with everything here. But they were going ahead and they were rolling me in there. The young lady told me, hey, it's getting a little cold out there. I'm gonna put another blanket on you before we get to the procedure room. I would go through the halls. I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem. Definitely keep me warm. So she's driving me down there, and she opens up the door, and they push me through the door, and I look in, and I'm laying there like this, and I'm looking in, and I see there the anesthesiologist, I see my doctor, and there's probably about like 3 or 4, young women ranging anywhere from 24 to probably about 30 years old, somewhere around there, I don't know. Before this all, the doctor asked me, hey, is it okay if we have a student in there to, go ahead and observe things, see how it's all done? And I was like, they're not doing it on me, right? Like that's not something they're gonna do on me, right? This isn't the first time with me. And they're like, no, they're just there to watch. Normally, I'm pretty okay with those kind of things because I'm that kind of guy. I go to a barber shop, if there's a new guy in a seat, I'll definitely take him. I don't have a problem with that. You gotta learn experience some way, somehow. I'm all about learning that way. Mind you, I just shaved my head, so if they mess it up and I don't like it, I can just have them, hey, buzz it all off, right? But anyway, so they're like, no, that's fine. So they roll me in here, and it's cold. I was like, holy guacamole. And I deal with like awkward situations usually with like, jokes, trying to break the tension, right? Loosen up a little bit. And so I went ahead, and as they're rolling me in, I'm like, I swear, if it looks smaller than what it is, it's because it's cold. And, I think they got a good kick out of it. I got a good kick out of it. I thought it was funny just because, the whole scenario, the whole situation with it all. Anyways, they'll move me over to the actual procedure table from the hospital bed, and they're laying me and they're strapping me down right like this, like I'm Jesus on the cross. And the anesthesiologist is kind of sitting there, and he's talking about my tattoos, asking me questions, obviously trying to take my mind off things, which I'm okay with it because, that situation that I'm in for, not too many people are like really excited for it. So I'm laying there, and he's asking me questions. The other person puts the young nurse puts the mask on me, and I'm like Darth Vader in here, right? And as I'm trying to talk to this guy, and next thing I know, I'm out. I didn't even realize I was falling asleep until I was waking up in the recovery room after the whole procedure was done. Which is cool, I was like, thank the Lord. I didn't, my biggest fear was waking up in the middle of it, and there was blood everywhere, and it was just not something I wanted to deal with, obviously over-exaggerating. But so I wake up to this lady talking to me, and I'm just like, where am I? What's going on? And I realize the procedure's done, and I actually went through with it. And it was still kind of crazy to me. Before I could leave, they had to make sure I was able to urinate, use the restroom, eat, be able to digest things, because the anesthesia that they use said that it can shut down things that you may not expect until you try to do one of these situations and using the restroom, and you can't. One thing that I found very crazy, I just recently had a checkup with everything after, they let me go home. It was the same day procedure. I got home and I had been resting this whole time. Been moderating pain is really the biggest thing. I actually have been trying to log it and trying to see, how many, pain pills am I taking, stuff like that, keeping track of it all. Just to kind of, for knowledge, because that was my biggest thing. When I looked up stuff like this, I couldn't really find anything on like what to expect and how to deal with it, or different things that other people did. And so, it was very abnormal to me. But anyways, I went ahead and I've been logging in. I've been doing great now. It's been about almost a week and a half. Everything has been wonderful. The only complications I've had was there was one time where I couldn't pee. And actually what was happening was, the doctor actually recently explained this to me because I just had a recent checkup on him, a week after. And he told me that he actually had to and this may be a little too graphic for some people, so if you don't want to listen, that's cool. But he said he had to literally pull my foreskin off. He said that it was stuck onto my actual genitalia, my penis. And he said he actually had to pull it off, and and it was weird and it was nasty. But what happened was it created like a scab, and so now I was bleeding at the tip. And obviously they can only do so much, so I had to go through this. And what was happening was that blood was getting in my pee hole and drying up, so and it was restricting me from being able to pee. It was like peeing through a wall. Like every time it was like I'm pushing and pushing and pushing until this thing finally went through. And it was very painful, very gruesome. I went to the hospital here in my little town of 1,000 people, and there wasn't really nothing they could do for me. It was kind of just take your pain pills, in hopes that you don't feel it and you're able to go to the bathroom, and you go do it enough frequently to where it's not going to be a problem anymore. Thank the Lord, I am past that. I no longer have that problem. At this point, has been standing. As I stand, it does swell. It does cause it to be more painful in situations with it all. So it's kind of restricting me like that to be bedridden and bedsided. But, the doctor said, being that it's been, about a week, and then I'm going further now, he said I can, extend myself. I just can't push it too far. I got to be able to know my limit in reality, which is kind of a hard thing for me to do. But, so this whole experience, one thing I kind of want people to get out of this video with it all is, I want to be an activist towards it. I want to be strong towards it, because everybody, it's a very kind of embarrassing thing to some people on being circumcised at 24 years old, or, the stigma around even having HSV. Once again, I'm about beating the odds and standing for those odds with it all, because I have been those odds my whole life, and even in this little town, and even in my family, I was always, it's always being that pointed one of beating that odds for me. To not let other people get inside your head, and to let people know that, hey, no matter what, you can still live your life, live a normal life, be happy, just have a great time. One thing this thing has done for me has changed my perspective on life, because, and it's crazy to think that something like this could really do that, because it really did. It has changed me to the point of, I'm no longer taking granted for my little things. This whole week and a half, 2 weeks, I have had to really rely on my wife and even my son in aspects of helping me and being able to guide me and do things and get stuff for me, in that aspect. So it's a whole process with it all. So I really grew appreciation for being able to do the things I was able to do, such as standing for as long periods of times. And with that being said, I think all of us as people kind of look past that on the aspect of being able to walk every day, being able to stand for long periods of time, being able to really anything if you really think about it. And so I really am not afraid of this topic or ashamed of this topic. So please, if you guys have any questions, any wondering, anything like that, don't be afraid to contact me and ask. Do not be afraid to comment on this, and just let me know your questions on maybe, what you think or about the whole experience of it all. Hopefully I've been kind of thorough about it. I was able to get 2 videos out of this. So, it's always wonderful. The more content, always the better. If there's anything else you guys want me to talk about, please do not be afraid, once again, to leave it in the comments or to message me. Other than that, I want to say thank you for listening. A huge thing I always tell people, because I feel like I ramble on sometimes, is welcome. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. And if you know what TED Talk is, you obviously know the little, the whole fun on that. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, great rest of your day. Continue to rock on, continue to have different perspectives on life. That's what this whole podcast is being about, to bring together joint perspectives on different aspects. So once again, this is Joey Joint with Joint Perspectives. And if you guys have any comments or any questions, leave them in the comments and hit that like button. Thank you.